A very good morning to everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us, Miss Sumaprasanna of Kids 360 jpnagar. So before we get into the session, let me introduce her to all of you. Miss Sumaprasanna is the CLO of Kids 360 jpnagar. She has done her Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and an additional diploma in Dyslexia. She has worked as a special educator in an organization called Deepika for about 8 years, which has been running successfully by Mrs. Sita Krishnamurthy in association with Sri Sringeri Sharada Peetam. Later, she joined as a facilitator in Little Millennium in the year 2011, which is now their own brand, Kids 360. She was promoted as CLO in the year 2015 and has continued her service till date. It's indeed a pleasure to have you with us. A very warm welcome.
Thank you so much.
At the onset, Ms. Sumaprasanna, I would like to know from you that what was the thought behind starting the school?
Yeah, so to tell about our school, it is run by Mr. Ashish. He is the director of our Kids 360, both the branches, jpnagar and as well as Indranagar. So I think he had some passion, to do something in education field. I think that made him to start with our Kids 360 preschool. In fact.
Okay, that's amazing. As you know that in Bangalore there are a lot of schools mushrooming. Each year a new school comes up. Not just the big schools but also preschools. In fact, preschools are there in every nook and corner. Every second lane you will find a preschool. So with so many preschools around, how do you stand to make a difference? What is so different about your school that parents should want to put their child in your school?
Yes, so there is a lot of competition. Definitely, I agree with that. But what makes us different is definitely a dedicated and passionate, trained teachers and support staff, and definitely our strong management. We get support from our management in all the areas, and plus our curriculum what we are following. So these are the three aspects which make us different from probably other preschools. In fact,
that's very nice. But could you tell me that what kind of curriculum do you follow at your school?
Okay, we follow Credo curriculum. It's like a combination of the Montessori based and the conventional way of teaching. So where the kids gets hands-on experience. So it's like more of a practical way of learning. Along with that, like we have theme-based activities, then we do a lot of art and craft activities, and then we concentrate. It's like we provide a structured environment for the child, so that which creates a curiosity in the child to learn more. In fact, so that is the curriculum what we follow in our Kids 360.
And the name is pretty unique, so I'm quite fascinated. So when you say 360, what is the thought behind the number 360?
Okay. So it's, as you know, Kids 360, they say it's like Kids 360 is a degree. So we concentrate on the overall development of a child. So as the name itself mentioned, Kids 360, holistic development. So we definitely concentrate on each and every aspect or the skill areas which needs to be developed at this point of stage for all the kids. In fact, so that may be related to the academics or their the gross motor, fine motor skills, making them like more independent, confident in other co-curricular activities. So all the aspects are being covered in Kids 360. So I think so that is where the Kids 360 has been represented.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. In your school, what are the age groups that you have, and do you also provide daycare for the children?
Yes, we are having age group from 2 to 6 years. Okay. So we are having like 4 classes: playgroup, nursery, LKG and UKG. Yes, we will be, we were having a daycare facility earlier. So right now it is not yet started, but definitely definitely we have an idea to start from this academic session onward.
So what are the timings of the school that you follow?
So timings will be from morning 9 to 1:30. The school timings are different for the different classes, in fact.
Okay.
And we start up with our daycare, then it will be up to 6:30 in the evening. We give it.
And the teacher-student ratio that you follow in your school?
1:10, ma'am. 1:10.
That's good. So that really ensures that children are getting individual attention. That's a very good student-teacher ratio. Today parents are, always concerned about, that their child should learn everything. That is first thing that is on their mind. So if their child is about, say, 4 years old and another child they see who's of the same age, and they find that their own child doesn't really know the amount that the other child knows. So that kind of comparison tends to happen with some parents. So would you like to share your thoughts on, is there any particular way that a child learns? Is there something that parents can help their child with to ensure that the child learns?
Yes, true. I agree with that. So that is definitely, I think parents will be having a lot of pressure from their surrounding, that why my child is not up to that mark when compared to the other kids. But what I feel is, I think all the kids are unique, so they have their own pace of learning. So definitely as teachers, I think we have to go according to their pace, not that comparing a child, okay, he is doing something ahead and this child is back. So we can't go along with that. Yes, definitely. We in Kids 360, what we do, we see in what level the child is. Accordingly, we start teaching them. So we go according to the child's pace. We never keep in mind that, okay, we have to complete our part or our portions. That is not, definitely will not be there in our mind. It's definitely according to the pace of the child what we will be covering. So at the end of the academic session, we'll try to see that at that particular age, what the child has to be learned, what he needs to cover. We will try to cover up those things slowly, but according with all the type of methods what we use in our school. Okay. So definitely, I think even we give little bit feedback on this with the parents. We share them. So what we are doing in the school, so that if the same thing is definitely applied in home, so together we can work for that particular child. So that will, I think, that's very important.
Yes.
Parent cooperation is definitely
true. And I think that way the gaps are also covered, they're closed. Other thing that is there, on the minds of parents is today, especially in today's times, they really expect a lot. They want their child to learn, go for class, music class, and so many classes after they come back from school, because I think they all want that a child develops an overall kind of personality. Do you think that the parents can inculcate certain skills that can be given to the children to help them develop this kind of personality?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, parents can ensure that they have to observe in what area the child has the interest. So that what we are also doing in our school. So we try to, we have with academics, we even have our co-curricular activities like dance, sports and other things. So where the child gets an exposure, and at the same time we will get to know the child is interested in which area. So it may be dance or it may be in sports. So we do provide lot of other activities where we provide a platform for the child to come up on the stage and show his talent, in fact. So I think that is a very important aspect with I think even the parent needs to explore that, in fact, and provide a platform for the child. I think that will be really helpful for the child, in fact. So that is what I feel. So even the same thing we are doing.
Yes, I think what you spoke about is quite right, that the children need to explore a lot of things and a lot of activities till parents really know what the child is also interested in. Do you think that, of course we spoke about briefly on activities, but how important are activities as part of curriculum, you think, and how much of importance or emphasis do you lay on the activities in your school?
Definitely, I think the activities are very much important, and especially at this point of stage, that is from 2 to 6 years of age. So it's like a foundation for the kids. So activity-based learning is the key, what we feel. So, and because most of the learning happens through activities like art and craft, it may be like show and tell activities, through stories, value-based learning. So these are all some of the activities what we give more emphasis in Kids 360. So I think, as I told, the kids are more curious to learn. So the more we give them that opportunity, I think the more they can learn. So that's the reason we give more emphasis on activity-based learning as well.
Yes, I think that's very true. And apart from the activities that are in, part of the curriculum, there would be certain special days or certain things like that that you must be having in your school.
Yes, ma'am. We actually every month, one Saturday in a month, we do conduct some activities for the children. So it's like where even the parents' involvement is also there. So we make sure that every month we cover up with some of the other activity. As I said earlier, so we try to give a platform for the child to come up. Know that we get to explore, as I told, like the child is interested in which area, in fact. So that is one thing. And the main event, basically what we do in our Kids 360s, one is our definitely sports day, annual day. So these are two main events which will be highlighted, in fact. So which the parents and as teachers, we also will be awaiting to go through that event.
Yes, I'm sure. And I think all the kids and parents also would be really looking forward to these activities.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's so important. And it's good to know that you involve the parents during these Saturday special days as well, because then they really feel part of not just the child's learning, but also the school. That's very interesting.
And I would like to add on one more point in this, as I think preschools, as kids, I think they should know a little more about our culture and our tradition. So wherein our celebrations of festivals also will play important role, in fact. So all the festivals which come across, we try to inculcate those kind of traditions, and like what we do that festival, we explain it to the kids also, that like what is the emphasis of that festival. So those things also we try to cover up in our school, in fact.
I think that way children come to know what all festivals, like you said, about the culture and different kind of festivals, and they learn to respect each other's, culture, and it's just not one way that they look at. So that's a very interesting thing. And of course, you have a background in special education. So I'm sure that you would really understand about, the children who lag behind. I mean, there are times, and you would have probably faced this as well, that there are times that parents during the time of admission do not talk about, their child being special in any way. So they basically, after 1 or 2 months, teachers realize that there is some issue with the child. And how do you deal with those situations, especially with regard to parents? Because sometimes parents are in denial of any issues that may happen with the kids.
Exactly, ma'am. Actually, as you told, when they come for an inquiry, it's obviously like, I think most of the parents, they would not be knowing what the child is undergoing. So they may not be aware of those things. So that is wherein they won't tell much about those aspects. So, but once the child comes into our hands, that is, they take the admission and they come to our school. So I think lot of aspects we need to observe before terming any child as a special. So that is what I feel. So because I think whether the child is special or a child is normal, I think socialization is one of the main aspects which all the kids needs. So I think that is where I think even all the formal schools or preschools has to provide that opportunity for the child to come and socialize with other kids. And as I told, there are a lot of aspects which we need to observe. Then only That may be there the behavior of a child, or how the speech of the child, whether he is able to speak or not, and even their writing and reading pattern. So all this we need to observe. Then only we can come to a conclusion that okay, the child needs some kind of special attention.
True,
So
true.
after that we come to know, in case if the child has got some special needs, so we will try to involve the parents. We'll try to address that to the parents. We'll try to involve them, and what we can do from our end as a special educator, as you said, like I know a little bit about that, so I do try to cover up those things. If in case if the child needs any extra like special therapies or any other classes, so we definitely recommend the parents to take the child to that particular therapist, or the where the it has to be addressed properly.
Yes.
So that's where I think we just can't tell that okay, the child is special.
No, very true. I think these issues have to be dealt in a very sensitive manner, and I think today I would say one of the there are of course a lot of pros that people are, because they understand about special needs, but the downside of it is that the moment they find, even if a child is normal but just is a little slow, sometimes people just tend to label them and they immediately say, oh, he's special, or he has a learning disability, whereas it may not be the case, as you would have seen.
Exactly. So that's I think we need to give a little more time on that part, and then observe properly, and then come to a conclusion before labeling a child, in fact.
Correct, absolutely. Because sometimes I wonder that probably in our times or earlier on, when special education was not so predominantly known and people were not really aware whether we were slow, fast, everybody was kind of, just they just was pushed in the next class, and along with that, whether we got 60 or we got 30, everybody went on along with everybody else. But it's good that so much of awareness is there. And so when you find that a child may not have any learning issue, but if you find that a child is generally, maybe out of sheer laziness, not wanting to write, but is lagging a little behind, so is there kind of some support that is given to that particular child?
Yes, ma'am, we do that. So as I told, once we observe like what kind of, in which area the child is lagging behind, or we come to know it's just, as you told, just because of the mere laziness, like he doesn't do any kind of practice. I think a lot of encouragement and motivation has to be provided for the child, so that some kind of interest also has to be created in him, so that he starts working on those things. So if we just leave it like that, then definitely he is not going to end up with any kind of thing. So it's very much important that we as teachers, as school, we have to definitely motivate the child to do the complete his activities, and create that curiosity in learning things, in fact.
That's very true. Now, coming to the workforce or the teachers, and as it is said that teachers are the pillars of any school, which is so true. So how do you, if somebody wants to join your school and work as a teacher, what is the process that is followed at your school to recruit a teacher? And apart from the qualification, are there any particular qualities that you look at before you recruit a teacher?
Yeah, so I think the selection process, what we follow here is definitely it involves answering a set of questionnaires what we provide, and there will be a trial session what they need to undergo, and then there will be a personal interview at the end. So after that only we will recruit the teacher. But before that, we will definitely the teacher has to be like the basic thing is like they should be a degree holder. With added advantage is that if they have done their Montessori or NT course, that is an additional this thing for that. And then a relevant work experience. That is what we look in before we recruit a teacher. And above all that, what we feel is those who wants to come into this field, they should be passionate about it.
Very true.
Working with children is not easy.
Yes.
They should be really passionate to come into this field, and then definitely they should have a lot of patience to work with it.
Yes. Very true.
This is these two are the basic foremost points which
True.
into that, and then all other things come as a secondary point.
Absolutely. I think that's, very well said, because it is so important. I mean, somebody can have a postgraduate degree or can have a whole lot of qualification, but especially to handle the younger lot, if they don't have the patience and they don't have the love for the kids, and then it's not going to really work. That's really true. So these teachers that you recruit, of course, most of the schools, they have their induction program right at the beginning of the year before the session begins.
Yes.
But do you also have some kind of an ongoing refresher training for the teachers?
Yes, ma'am. As I told, we follow Credo curriculum. So the Credo provides a training for all our teachers. So all of our teachers has undergone that training. So along with that, we will be having internal trainings in our school itself, which will be happening once in 3 months. And along with that, definitely there will be a refresher training which will be conducted by Credo. So which most of our teachers will be attending often, so that they get updated with.
And I'm sure you would be having a process of observing your teachers on a regular basis. One thing, one concern that most parents, especially in today's times, have, it's always on their mind, is safety. They're always concerned about the safety of their child. Sometimes parents want that live CCTV live, this thing should be given to them. And of course, it's understandable from their point of view because of probably what they have heard about, what they've seen, what's happening today. And a lot of schools do follow safety protocols. So what are some of the safety steps that you take at your school?
Yes, definitely safety of child will be our high priority, in fact. So we do have installed CCTV cameras all over, so that we can definitely monitor the children wherever the movement is happening. So definitely we don't have the probably that access for the parents, but we do have the monitoring which will be going continuously. And along with it, we make sure that wherever the child is moving for different kind of activities, everywhere the teacher's monitoring is very important. Even though the CCTV cameras are there, but the monitoring of a teacher is very much important. So that we follow very much without any kind of this thing. So wherever the kids are moving, everywhere, that may be the sports activity happening, that may be the class, dance class happening, or any other kind of activities, everywhere the concerned class teacher will be there monitoring the children. And when it comes to the other safety measures, definitely the safety gates and the carpets where the steps are there. So these things we have taken care in our school. And definitely when it comes to the transportation, we provide a support staff where she goes every day and while picking up and dropping the kids. So this continuous monitoring will be there in us. That is the key impact.
Okay, great. I think with all these processes in place, I'm sure parents would be very comfortable and know that their children are safe in the school. And one of the last few questions, parents usually, because we live in a digital age, and with so much of exposure to the phones and the laptops and things like that, especially at a time when parents, when they are busy, they just hand over the phone to the child. But then parents do wonder that how do they nurture or how do they make their child a curious learner? They may be very curious about phones, but apart from that, other things, how do they make them curious learners?
Yeah, I think, yes, that curiosity is it is a desire to learn, in fact. So we need to encourage those natural interest in the child. So it has to be recognized both at home and definitely even at the school also. So children learn through more of activities that capture their attention and imagination. So I think that maybe the storybooks what we provide, or usually we in our school we take them on a field trip so that the curiosity level is increased in the child. And as I mentioned, the curriculum what we follow itself creates lots of curiosity in the child, because every day they are working with a different kind of material.
Okay.
As I told, this practical kind of learning creates a lot of curiosity in the child. So I think that is very much important, create that curiosity in a child, so that the learning process keeps continuous. It never stops, in fact.
Yes.
So even at home also, it has to be more of, I think parents have become more observant to see what the child interest is, how to create a curiosity, rather than engaging a child with the phone or a laptop, or it doesn't help child in any manner.
So tell me, what really made you, or what inspired you to become an educator?
So actually, yeah, from my childhood,